every time when we have a training program, we always have empty front seats. Point number 2 is that those who sit at the front seats are latecomers. But now it's not that. So this is what happened in every training program. No? But don't worry, it's not your fault. It's the teachers who teaches you. It's the school system that encourages us to sit at the back. Do you agree? All of us, we always sit at the back, no? When you have the meetings or when you go to church, you will always sit at the back, right? Those who sit in the front rows in the church are only those who came late. Why? You know why? Because you don't want to take responsibility. Number 2, we have some emotional problems with us. So as far I think all of you must have heard the word all-round development.
What is soil? I hope all of you know about soil. Soil is the uppermost part of the earth. So now, in this part, I'm going to show you about the composition of the soil. This is the lower part in which we call it the bedrock, or which we see the gravel. This is the bedrock in which all the rocks are formed from the lower part. And then comes the next is the sand. In this space, we see there is a lot, or in this space, we can see there is a lot of silt, or in which
value of teaching learning materials. We never understand the value of teaching aids on the hand of the teacher. We never understand the value of learning aids in the hands of the students. So it's important for us to understand that these aids, these materials that you have developed today and these last few days that you have done the work, you will find that they motivate the students. They become motivators. Okay? Especially when many of us, when we teach, all of us, we have different quality of teaching, isn't it? Some of us can motivate the students very well. Some of us could not motivate much. Okay, but by using teaching learning materials, that will bring about, when you say motivation, that will bring about interest on the part of the students. That will bring about curiosity in the part of the students. Because the moment they see something, different in the classroom, because every day they only see what? They only see the textbooks. But you start bringing something different. If you start using something different, then that will motivate the child, means that will create interest on the part of the children, that will create curiosity on the part of the children. Okay? Are you clear? Okay? And in that way, they will have interest in learning. In that way, they will give attention to your teaching learning. Okay? To your teaching. Okay? And not only that, remember that day we are talking about objectives, learning experience and evaluation. Remember? So, if you use TLMs, it's just like giving them the learning experiences. Without these materials, we cannot say that they experience only by listening from the teacher. Clear images. Your myth will be formed when we do what? When we see, isn't it? When we see. when we taste, when we touch, when we smell. Okay? So all that means like if we can see, if you can touch, if you can smell, means we are doing what? We are exploring, isn't it? We are exploring. And that also, and also there is a direct contact. Direct contact with what we are learning. Right? Okay? So if you are teaching on any topic, for example on the topic of plants, if you bring a specimen, if you bring a chart, if you bring a model of the particular plant, then you can touch, isn't it? If you teach about flower, if you bring a flower, you can do dissection of a flower, isn't it? So you can explore. You dissect the flower, you can smell the flower, you can see, you can touch, you can feel. It is what you can say a direct experience. It's different from if you just draw on a whiteboard or the blackboard, means they are only using the sense of sight, isn't it?
Then 70% we remember from what we say. See, only until you express. So if we are able to say something from what we have here, from what we have seen, then that will be, we will remember it 70%. Everybody, here we are like to tell you about this, demonstrate about this, how the plants people migrate to Bangladesh. As we know that in ancient time, this area before it was not known as Jaintia Hills. We know it as a kingdom, Sutunga kingdom, or that kingdom which is ruled by Sutunga. So what happened at that time? We know that Sutunga is one of the famous king of the ancient time. Nearly all these areas in and adjacent areas here, it was ruled by him. And this is the kingdom which have been ruled by that king during that time. So this thing, it's happened. So one day when he went to these areas, okay, he see the plains of Bangladesh. So what happened then? He liked it as you see that this place, it is one of the most fertile place. So what happened? Then he planned. He went back to his kingdom. After that, he planned with his subjects here in Sutunga. Then after that, after they planned, then they launched an attack. Okay, they invade these plains of Bangladesh. For what? First of all, is they wanted this place because you know that this place is one of the fertile place and it is located near the river. That means Ummat is there. The other side there is this plain. At that time, this plain also was called in Bangladesh as Silhat or Shirat, as we know. So this same Sutunga, when he attacked this area, he won the battle. Then he annexed this place and extended his empires up to Bangladesh. Then, what we see there, this same Sutunga, okay, when he settled here, after he annexed this place, so after a course of time, he met a woman there in Bangladesh. Then he married her, and her name is Jaintia. So when he met Jaintia, he made her a queen. He settled there. Then times and again, there's people from this area, from Sutunga kingdom, especially from Natiang, Namba, Sultanga, they went there for trade. That means now it has this area with the plains of Bangladesh, they have a close relation. How? Because Siem is there, or the Sultanga king is here. So it's easy for them to reach there. So they have a trade with them here. Then in course of time, these people, they start to settle. And what we see here is this Sultanga also start to settle here because why? In summertime, it is very hot. So he cannot live here. He went back to this hill and he makes Napian Asis capital, that is summer research, to stay here during summertime because it's hot there. And in winter time, he went back here and he stayed here. We also see here that his subjects, as I'm telling you right from the start, they settled here. At that time, as we know that there is no political boundary. People, they can go freely. As well as the king is there and the subject is here, they can go and have a relation with the people of Bangladesh.
Migration in terms of agricultural purpose and educational purpose. Okay, first we will see about Mamas, a small farmer from Jaintia. And this Mama belonged to a very poor family at the beginning. He first stayed his field in Jaintia where the land is unfertile. So after a few years later on, one of his relatives from Bangla, he urged Mama to set his farming or to set his agricultural purpose in Bangla. So he moved on to Bangla, and after a few years, Mama settled down in Bangla with his wife and 2 children. Again, later on, Mama thought that in Bangla there are no sufficient schools or college. Mama take his son to Bangalore for further education. So his son Daman went to Bangalore at Indian Academy Degree College. After receiving his degree from this college, he then moved to Tura. At Tura, he get a job from a director of education, and also as conclusion, Damans also settled down in Tura with his wife and children, so and so on. This is not a real story, but it is based on imagination or imaginative story. That's all. Thank you.
My brother name is Sri Chingat Chidamana. After that, my grandfather name is Robi Chilat. And second father is Sri Chin Suma. From mother's side, my mother name is Smith Tilipi Langban. And grandmother is Mai Langban. And great grandmother is Kelung Langban. Thank you.
This my chart paper about my family pyramid and my generation. The first generation of my family pyramid comes Gwen Chulai, and next is Rina Muro, and Lisa So, Kenan Chalam, and comes me, Lamidaka Slum. And from the other side, that is from my mother, maternal, from Sophia Slong, next Manda Slong, Sheila Slong, Baby Slong, and then comes Nila Slong.
So I don't use the book anymore, isn't it? Now, Let us now to my interest in the program. He will walk up
this revolving dish, we can make the student eager to learn the different states. For example, we can learn if we take the arrow to Orissa. At the same time, we can see the language of Orissa is Oriya, the capital Bhubaneswar, and the tourist center Puri. So by making this revolving dish, telling the student to make this revolving dish, the student will be eager to learn about the different states and the capital.
Circle, we have been cut our touch paper. They have shown about the states in our country. They have written also about the name of the states, different states found here. So what is the purpose of making this? Purpose is to learn about what we can find there in a particular state. First, as you have seen here, that this is the state of Tripura. Okay? So in the state of Tripura, in that particular place, we have cut also one square, but that square have written as major language. If we wanted to find out what is in that square, the major language, so we find exactly Tripura, its language is Torboraks or Bengali. So in the same case, if I wanted to see about the capital, again it will complete this. As in the square, I have written there as capital, so I wanted to find out what is the capital of Orissa. You just locate this arrows. When we reach there, we will find out that the capital of Orissa is Bhubaneswar. So it's very simple and very easy also for the children to learn, to know about exactly what could be found there by themselves. So learning by doing as well as by touching is very good for them and will last long, and they can retain long and they remember long.
These are the pictures to be developed in the class. You make it colorful, and apart from that, remember when you make it a calendar, it should be attractive. So borders should be here, color centers and all. So make it nicely, and then after that, you make it as a calendar. Are you clear all of this type of teaching aids in the classroom. This is a sketch. It is an imaginary sketch, and this is used for language teaching, for speaking development as well as writing development. All right. Now, in speaking, all you have to do is the teacher will bring this teaching aid into the classroom, and then students are asked to study the picture on the chart. After that, they are to develop their own story and narrate it in the classroom for speaking skill. Alright? Now in the first page, as you have seen here, there are hillocks, alright? Small hills. The sun is rising and there's a pine tree and this is a river. So the students will create a story, an imaginary story. Alright? They will start narrating like this. Once upon a time, I wake up in the morning and I'm so happy to see the sun rises over the hillocks. And I'm happy to see that there are still greeneries over our area. The river is flowing. So this type of story, let them develop on their own. Forget at the beginning, you forget about the grammar, you forget about the language structure, alright? This is how to encourage speaking skill among your students, alright? The teacher will simply observe Alright, every day let them develop a story, and in the meanwhile, as teacher, your role is to correct the grammatical structure of the student.
How many of you are teaching mathematics in your school? More or less it look like this. Okay. So that it can become a card. When you pick someone, you cut it and throw it. Yes, you split the numbers. So you do the marking of the square. Once again, as you have done before. 1, 2, like that, till you reach 10. Then next row, 91, 92, then 99, 100. Okay. Learning by doing. Okay. Now, through geometry, for finding the area of say a rectangular field, okay, where the length is different from the breadth, then we know that to find the whole area of this rectangular field, area is equal to length into, isn't it? To find the area of this is in case of rectangle. In case of a perfect square, what our teachers told us is that in a perfect square, the length and the breadth are equal. So this is also of length L, this is also of length L. Isn't it? So area of a square will be equal to L into L. And area of square is L square. This particular phenomenon is being used in finding the formula of algebra, a plus b whole square. It links. Get it? So first of all, the students must know about how to find the area of rectangle. Then after that, you must know how to find the area of a square. As teachers, these two will be the basics to show the students how a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus twice ab plus b square. We have found out through previous years, some of them are teachers but they don't know how to use the ruler. Some of them they start measuring from 1. Some of them they start measuring from the edge of the ruler. It shouldn't start from the edge of ruler or from 1, it should start from 0. What is the area that you have got with your paper cutting? You got 400 square centimeter. Okay? Did you get that? How do you get that one? How your students get that one is, it right from the previous one that I've told you, to find the area of a rectangle, to find the area of square. Area of rectangle is equal to length into breadth, but in this case, area of this is a square, so length, breadth also is equal to the length. So that 20, 20. So length to length, that's why area of square becomes L square. So it becomes 20 square. Then that's why you got 20 to 20 is 400 s cubed feet. This okay. So out of 20, let us take 14 by 6. Along the length, okay, yeah. Along the length, you start using your ruler. Okay. From this edge, left edge corner to this point, 14 centimeter. Should be a straight line. Okay. Mine is not straight. I will try to make it straight. It will become dots in it. How do you understand it? Along the breadth. The same unit 14, isn't it? So this is also of a unit. What is this remaining portion? How many centimeters is this one? 6. So 6 is, does it equal to this one? So this one also is of B units. So this is B units. So if this one is B units, this one also, because we have measured 14, no? So this, the rest is 6. So this is also of B units. Then this 14 becomes. The biggest one is a perfect square because both length and breadth are equal. This is the length up to here and this is the breadth. Correct? So A into A is, what is the area? So the area is A. Now B into B, the area of this one is, the area of this one is becoming B square. Yeah. What is the area of this one? A into B, or can write AB, the area. And this one also? With the help of cutter, your 400 square centimeter, you can cut it along this side. You mark first A, AB, B square, AB. So our L square becomes A plus B whole square. Get it? You can write it down. Okay. So your A plus B whole square, we have calculated it before and we have got it is of 400 square centimeter. That is to be kept. Yeah. Okay. So the next part, after you have cut your A plus B whole square, what do you have? You have like this, it's not it? Like this on the flattened wood, you got 1 square, A square, isn't it? You got 2 numbers of rectangles, which are AB, and you have got another extra one, isn't it? So your whole A plus B whole square are equal to A square plus 2AB plus, yeah, the whole thing is equal to A square plus 5AB plus B square. Yeah. So now you can show that A plus B equal to A plus B whole square is equal to A square plus 5AB plus B square with the help of paper cutting activities. You can ask your students to again measure the area of this biggest square. Okay, find how much. Then you use the scale. When you use the scale, you measure using the ruler. Okay, you use the ruler and measure length is that much, breadth is that much. So length into breadth, he got 14 into your B. You have taken 6, no? 6 plus your B square is 6 square. And see whether your AB whole square is equal to the previous calculation before we cut it out. Leave these steps to the students. Ask students to measure each and every part of the biggest square, smallest square and the 2 rectangles. And let them calculate it whether they cut the previous one before we cut it out. You have got 400 square centimeters. Isn't it? Is it equal or not? Then if it is equal, then your students will be very much satisfied that we can show it with the help of paper cut.